The Galactic Observation Council's headquarters hummed with quiet efficiency, its crystalline walls pulsing with soft bioluminescent patterns. Commander Zix-9 adjusted her sensory appendages as she reviewed the morning's agenda, unaware that within the next few hours, her understanding of the universe would be fundamentally shattered. Today, we examine species 7834 HAA, announced Dr. Keth, the Council's leading xenobiologist. His tentacles danced across the holographic interface, projecting Earth's blue-green marble into the center of the amphitheater. The inhabitants call themselves humans, and preliminary scans suggest they may be suitable candidates for first contact protocols. The assembled council members, representing 47 different species from across the galaxy, settled into their observation pods with anticipation. First contact evaluations were always exciting, offering glimpses into new forms of consciousness and civilization. Let us begin with their historical archives, Dr. Keth continued, his voice carrying the enthusiasm of someone who had dedicated 3 centuries to studying emerging species. We'll start with what they termed documentaries, apparently factual recordings of significant events. The first footage materialized in the center of the chamber, grainy black and white images of trenches filled with mud and desperate faces. The Battle of the Somme unfolded before 68 pairs of alien eyes, each species interpreting the horror through their own evolutionary lens. Councillor Vex, whose species had evolved from peaceful reef builders, was the first to emit distress signals. Her chromatic patches shifted to deep purple as she watched human soldiers charge across no man's land, only to be mowed down by machine gun fire. "This appears to be some form of mass self-termination ritual," she whispered, her translator struggling with concepts her language had no words for. Dr. Keth paused the footage, his own confidence beginning to waver. Perhaps this is ceremonial or fictional entertainment? "Continue," ordered Commander Zix-9, though her mandibles clicked nervously. "We need more data." The footage resumed, jumping forward in time. The chamber filled with the thunder of aircraft engines as World War II bomber formations appeared overhead. Below, cities transformed into infernos, civilians fleeing through streets filled with rubble and smoke. The ethereal delegate, a being of pure energy who had never experienced physical violence, began flickering erratically. They destroy their own nests, it communicated through electromagnetic pulses. Their own offspring habitats. As the presentation continued through the decades, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf Wars, Afghanistan, a disturbing pattern emerged. These weren't isolated incidents or ancient history. Warfare appeared to be a constant throughout human civilization, evolving and intensifying with their technology. The footage from Syria was particularly devastating. Councillor Mirth, whose species had achieved galactic travel through collective consciousness and shared empathy, began to convulse. "I can sense their pain across time and space," she moaned. "How do they endure such anguish without descending into madness?" "Some of them do," Dr. Keth said quietly, displaying statistics on human PTSD rates. "They have developed an entire medical specialty to treat minds broken by warfare." The chamber fell silent, except for the soft humming of life support systems and the occasional distress signal from various council members. Then came the nuclear footage. The first atomic explosion bloomed across the display like a miniature star, followed by the devastation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The council watched in stunned silence as the humans revealed they had not only harnessed the power of stellar fusion, but had immediately weaponized it against their own species. That was when the resignations began. Councillor Vex was first, her resignation transmitted through a burst of ultraviolet patterns that roughly translated to "I cannot serve in a universe where such beings exist." She dissolved into her component particles and departed through the quantum transport, returning to her home reef 2,000 light-years away. The ethereal being followed, its energy form dispersing into individual photons with a final message. Observation of such entities corrupts the observer. I choose to forget this data exists. Within minutes, 23 of the 47 council members had submitted formal resignations. Others sat paralyzed in their pods, struggling to process what they had witnessed. Perhaps, suggested Dr. Keth, his voice barely above a whisper, we should examine their cultural achievements, their art, their music, their literature. Commander Zix-9 activated her emergency protocols. Seal this data. Classification level Omega. We need time to process this. But even as she spoke, more footage continued to play automatically. Drone strikes, chemical weapons, the systematic destruction of entire civilizations. Each image seemed to reveal new depths of human capacity for violence, creativity in causing suffering, and the ability to normalize the unthinkable. By day's end, 32 of the original 47 council members had resigned. The remaining 15 sat in shocked silence, contemplating a species that had not only survived constant warfare, but had somehow used it to drive technological advancement. "Sir," whispered Dr. Keth, "there's something else. The footage shows they're beginning to achieve space travel." Commander Zix-9's compound eyes fixed on the display showing the International Space Station. "Are you telling me that this species of warriors is about to join the galactic community?" The implications hung in the air like a toxic cloud. A species that had turned warfare into an art form, that had weaponized the fundamental forces of nature, that treated violence as an acceptable solution to conflicts. This species was on the verge of interstellar capability. In the following weeks, the mass resignations continued. The Galactic Observation Council, once the pride of civilized space, was reduced to a skeleton crew of the most psychologically resilient beings in the galaxy. And somewhere in a small blue world, orbiting an unremarkable yellow star, humans continued their daily lives, unaware that their mere existence had caused the first existential crisis in galactic civilization's recorded history.